bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
Hello, everyone. We are Patriots across the pond, as you know, Stu and Elisa. And believe it or not, even though we're on separate screens, we are both on Long Island together today.
Yeah, she's in the room behind me over there, but we've had to do it like this because noise echoes and stuff like that. But absolutely fine. I am stateside, USA. I should change my flag to same as yours, really, shouldn't I?
Yes,
Just
you should.
But yes, we just wanted to do a little catch up because we've just finished an amazing weekend of the Awakening Summit. I am getting hairier and hairier because my travel plug does not work over here. So we bought a new travel plug with 3 pins instead of 2, and that doesn't work either. So my clippers are not working. So I'm getting hairier and hairier. I'm not in the cliche, definitely not. So it's just starting to itch at the
It's
moment.
all right. It's a very American look these days, the scruffy look.
Yeah, people don't realise how grey I am until that starts growing too long. Yeah, there's no greyness there. Absolutely beautiful.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have had an absolutely amazing weekend. I mean, we only met in person
last
What day
Tuesday.
is it today? Tuesday. It's Tuesday today?
Yep, a week ago.
A week ago. And we got on stage together 3 days later and smashed it out of the park, I think. You know, anyone can watch that. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But plenty of people pay to watch it live, streamed, and now you can pay for it to watch the recording. It's about 8 hours the first day and 8 hours, 25 minutes or something the second day because we went on a little bit longer taking photos and everything. But it was just amazing, and I had a brilliant time. It was great to meet so many people that I've only spoke to over the screen for a while in person, and have a few beers and a catch up and a laugh and a giggle and a joke and a piss take and all those sorts of things. It's great.
It was kind of crazy because we felt, I mean, I feel like I've known everyone, you and everybody else that was at this event that I never even met in person until this weekend. That's what's so crazy about this community. We're not physically together, many of us, and yet there's this really strong connection. So I think I probably only met in person maybe 2 or 3 people. The rest, it was the first time, but it felt like old home week, like having a family reunion. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, amazing. And I had many people say to me, when we're sitting here on the screen like this, because you and I look the same height
I
on
know.
the screen, don't we? And then I turn up, you're like this, I'm like that, right? Because you are dinky-doo, aren't you? And quite a few people said to me, you're taller than I expected. And then Brad Olsen turned up, obviously, and he was the tallest man there.
Yes.
By a mile. But yeah, like I say, just amazing to meet everyone. The atmosphere was great, and all the people that paid to come to the event We said before, didn't we? There's none of that them and us VIP, and even though, you know, some people bought a VIP ticket and got a breakfast and a bit more of an experience, we all just mingled together, didn't we?
Yeah.
There's no segregation or anything, was there? It was, and I love that.
Yeah, it really was terrific. So where do you want to start? I think we should start with the fact that anybody who had a ticket live or purchased a live stream ticket, you have the ability to have the replay. And I think there's either an email that went out to all of you already advising you of the link. So that should be good. I'm checking on that to get a confirmation. However, if anybody was not live and did not buy the live stream, we put the link so that you could buy the replay. And that's available right now.
Yeah, it's there. But if anyone's watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you go to Rumble, that link is in the chat. I could actually quickly put it in the YouTube as well, couldn't I? Copy link address. Let me just do that. Paste.
And I see that Donna is watching us. Hi, Donna.
Donna's in the chat.
Yes.
It's
Donna was
fucking Donna.
Donna's the creator, and it was her inspiration from the beginning to put an event. We did a smaller event back in October 2025, and we had a couple of return speakers for this one, but she really is the one with the vision and an amazing person. And so we work together on this, and we're looking at doing more.
Yeah, I mean, I did say on the stage right at the start, didn't I, that quite a few people commented that it was you and I that were organising it, and I put my hands up and said, no, I've just flown over here and I'm winging it. And Steph, Donna's daughter, did a fair bit. Obviously, Joe Rosali did quite a bit of networking and stuff. I come over and wing it, but the two main organisers of that was you and Donna, and, you know, fair play for what you did putting all that together.
Yeah, it really turned out great. The speakers were fantastic, and our sponsors, you know, I mean, we had our silver sponsor, Truth Teller Tales, Ellen Papa, and then of course our platinum sponsors, Matt Geiger, Verity Metals. He's on every Wednesday with us on Midweek Metals with Matt. Just like people just gave so much. They just really did. And if it wasn't for Matt, right? Matt was just so generous, putting everybody up in hotels and taking care of that aspect, which is so important for people, you know, coming in from all over the world.
Couldn't have done it without Matt, could we? I said that to him this morning when we were all leaving, and I tell you, people, you want to buy gold and silver, that's down to you. Most of us are looking into these things, and Matt is brilliant. But he is one of us. He's a fucking true patriot, that man. And he doesn't want us to talk about gold and silver all day long. He wants to talk about patriot stuff and the awakening and a bit of woo-woo and tinfoil hat stuff. And he's just an amazing man. What a legend. So
yeah. So
thanks,
Stu,
Matt.
do you have any idea? We've got someone in the chat, Jedman74, who said, Effin' Donna, who do you think this is? LOL. MG Phantom account. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, it's Matt in the chat. Is Jedman74, is he?
Yeah, it's just a little. See, the thing is, if everybody's then wondering about the Effin' Donna thing, Donna and I, both of us hail from Queens, and we drop a lot of F-bombs. In fact, I met her daughter for the first time, and I was like dropping them, and I said, I'm so sorry. And she's like, what are you talking about? Do you know my mother? I was like, okay. And so, yeah, so everybody was calling her Effin' Donna because that was one of her favorite words, I guess.
What happened? We have been just laughing, haven't we, all weekend? It's
absolutely.
And well, we've been laughing a lot, but we've also been. It's been quite teary, isn't it? Listening to some of the speakers that have come on. So I just wanted to go through all our speakers and just have a little, you know, chat about everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
So we're going off of the itinerary that we worked with Saturday day 1 and then Sunday day 2 in terms of like everybody, and you'll get a sense of what the event was actually like. We also took the liberty, Stu and I, of doing sort of this behind the scenes of the Awakening Summit, starting from, I don't know if you've been following our TikTok, but we've just been putting up these short little funny, videos from starting on Tuesday when we got together, throughout the whole week, some of the little excursions we had, like when we went out to the winery on Thursday with Renee from Red Pilling Renee, and then the setup in the room, and just, funny moments that we had throughout the weekend. So our intention now, Stu also did it with his GoPro. I did it with my phone. We're going to try to put these all together into one fun video, or at least a couple of videos, so that you could see it all chronological. So
Yeah,
anyway,
definitely.
have a safe flight, Matt. They're just getting back on their plane, heading back to Arizona, him and the gang. So safe flight. We love you, and we'll
we
talk
love
to you
you.
soon. We'll
Yeah,
see
where we
Matt
go,
next
when we go all,
Wednesday,
Matt.
the 6th,
And,
on our show.
Yeah, brilliant. Safe travels home, guys, and we'll chat with you soon. We're not doing Matt tomorrow, are we? We're having a week off of that because I'm still over here. My schedule will get back to some normality when I get back to England. I'm on my new laptop at the moment. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? But I can't do any of that screen sharing business because at the moment I've only got the one screen, and Mr. Monduo has not sent me my extra screens yet.
That's
if you're
right.
listening, Jack, where are they? Please, thank you. Yeah, so let's just go through it, shall we?
Yeah.
Well, we did the Pledge of Allegiance, which I didn't know what was going on the first day because I didn't know we were doing that. And but I got my screenshots for day 2, and I sang the anthem, and I did the Pledge of Allegiance, which is good. You're from England. Well, it doesn't matter, does it? We're all patriots in our own country, but this is all about the United States anyway. If the United States fell, that would have been game over. So people need to know about that. So I'm quite happy to put my hand on my heart for that in this movement, 117%. So yeah, and then we had Cat, Light Warrior, Patriots, sing the national anthem on both mornings. And great to meet Cat. She was one of the first guests on our show. Have you gone a bit frozen, Lisa? Your camera's gone a bit funny.
Has it? Oh, I don't know. I see everything okay. I don't know if it's on your end. Let me know in the chat if I look funny or I froze.
Yeah, you look a bit better now, but yeah, that's better. We'll just carry on like that. If it happens again, just go out and come back in. So yeah, Cat got up on stage, didn't she? She did a little chat with
Joe and Scott from Truth Stream.
Yeah.
And we also had Brad Olson as part of that. And they just kind of did like a little bit of a status update, if you will, of sort of where we are geopolitically, spiritually. You have to understand the whole event. What we tried to do is make it very interactive. So, we had certain people that were giving presentations about information, but then there was always that opportunity to open it up to the audience for questions. So I think we had a few questions during their portion. Is that right, Stu? I think we fielded a few questions.
Yeah, I mean, I would. The best way anyone can do this, right, is to buy that virtual ticket. It's $36, right, and then you can watch it all unfold and how it went and the love in the room and everything. Really, $36 is nothing, is it? It's about £25 English, isn't it? And then you can save that forever, because I am going to be uploading it on our channels at some stage. But it's, it's nice to contribute and have your own copy and that sort of stuff anyway. So I'm going to hang off from doing that anyway. I won't just be uploading it if they still want to do, some ticket selling or anything like that. So I'll hold back on that. Yeah, that'd be fine. So yeah, then we had, most of these people did individual things anyway, but it was nice to get them up for round tables. We had Jordan Clark get up, and Jordan gave a heartbreaking little rendition of his life and his condition. And it's actually being with Jordan, it is amazing, really, because he comes alive on stage, and when he's that, but the issues he has with his heart, it's really draining for him, and you know, being such a fit young man and wanting to dedicate, you know, hours in the gym and stuff like that, it's really hard watching him suffer through this sometimes. So I do just want everyone to send Jordan all your love, right? Because we all want to get through this together. And I'll tell you what now, if I ever get offered a med bed, right, if they come out, you know, I've got a few things wrong with me, but there's many people out there that I would give my med bed place to before I went on one. And Jordan being the line of that. My mate
100%.
Haley, you know, many others. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much love, Jordan. Yeah.
So then we kind of moved right into kind of the Q movement, you know, talk about a little bit of an overview of that. Obviously, our audience was very familiar and understood, but I think the plan was at that point we had like a little glitch because Dave and Rambo and Patrick were going to kind of do, you know, a little round table on that, and then we had to kind of improvise.
Well, they had the presentation ready, didn't they? But
Yes.
Dave had to shoot off. He had a little issue in that. But
so we got a bunch of the guys on stage, including Jordan, right? And they started having a conversation. Less Joe, Rambo, and Dave at that point, and we got into a nice, you know, just overview. I know Jordan does, you know, a lot of that, so he was giving a beautiful overview of what's been going on, you know, with that movement, et cetera, et cetera. And then I think we broke for lunch at that point, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, Rambo turned up, didn't he, and jumped on the stage with the guys and all that. It was just Dave. No, Dave actually did turn up, didn't he, for that bit, I think, but they didn't do their presentation until I did it later on in the day.
Yes.
A bit later. But yeah, that was brilliant. And yeah, and then we broke up for a little spot of luncheon.
I'm going to send a shout out to Ivoroni Brothers in Garden City for giving us a kick-ass lunch. Really delicious salads and wraps and sandwiches. Thank you so much, you guys. It was great food.
Do you want to give a little shout out to the people who did the breakfast as well?
Yes, and I'm embarrassed because I don't remember the name because Donna and I kind of split the meal. So I'm going to ask her to put in the chat the bagel place, and I will absolutely give them a shout out because breakfast was so yummy. We had bagels and schmear. We had a couple of varieties of schmear, and then we also had lovely pastries and fruit. So anyway, we'll give a shout out to them.
Yeah, it was great. We've got some great people in the chat. We got Matt, Farrick, and Dana Geiger.
Ellen.
Donna's in there. Ellen's in the chat.
Truth Stream.
Joe and Scott. Yeah. If they're both in, I think they're together. Oh, maybe they're not actually, because Joe stayed behind, didn't he? He was getting there for Lisa, I think.
Yes.
And who else? And Carol Maureen has just popped in.
Carol Maureen. Hi, Carol.
From Costa Rica. Oh, it's great to see everyone here. So anyway, we came on, and then Matt gave out a decent presentation, didn't he? Gold, silver cheddar, and he was taking a few questions from the audience, which was really nice. And we had a lot of fun with that, didn't we? Running around with the microphone and stuff. And we obviously have to iron out a few problems, being the first one that we did, because people were saying on the live feed when people were asking the questions, if they didn't have the microphone, they couldn't hear them on the live feed. So that's something we will always make. Well, as soon as we heard that, we made sure we did it for the rest of the event. But, you know, that will always be taken care of in future. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, then we moved on, and Carrie Cassidy gave an incredible presentation. You know, she always has a lot of information from the many years of being an investigative reporter, being a film producer and creator in Hollywood. I mean, she kind of knows a lot of what's going on behind the scenes, and she gave a wonderful presentation. I mean, you could hear a pin drop during her talk. She's always got great information, so that was fantastic.
Well, Kerry came on to do a slideshow, didn't she? And she had a presentation and stuff, but she started off with a question talking about David Wilcock, and she powered into that for about 40 minutes. And so she was going to start our presentation, getting close to the end of our allotted time. But people were going, no, can we have a bit more and stuff like that? So we obviously opened it up to Lewis Holmes was going to do a little video presentation. We removed that and let Kerry speak for a bit longer. But yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of appreciation for that. Look, there was appreciation for all our guests up there, and I think every one of them did absolutely amazing.
You know what I was really impressed with? I've been to a lot of these events, and sometimes you hear like lots of talking, and people were just so polite and so attentive, and I didn't feel like there was any of that. I've been to these events where people are like shh, and telling people are just so polite and loving. It was just a really nice feeling throughout. I mean, smiles, and it was just a great crowd.
Yeah, I'll just give a little shout out to my mate Glennis. He's in the chat there. Gee whiz. Hello, you lovely soul. Right back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had Chris O'Connor on. Now, Chris he's such a gentle, wonderful soul, isn't he?
Yes.
He's had some experience of, he's talking about the secret space program and being abducted as a, very young child and all these things. I pretty much think from what we heard throughout the course of the weekend that everyone that was on that stage speaking has had some sort of issue, trauma in their past.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this many times before, haven't we? That we think we need something like that in our lives to actually send us on the path of spiritual enlightenment, and whatever journey we're having through that.
Yeah. Well, Chris's presentation really was perfectly placed right after Kerry's, because Kerry was talking a lot about this whistleblower information. And then here we have someone who has personally experienced, being abducted. Of course, the way Chris explains it was a soul contract that he had made in his previous incarnation to come, when he came back to go into this program and serve, I guess 20 years, and then he increased it a couple of times by 20 years. So there's never enough time for any of these people, right, with all their lifetime of knowledge and experience. But he gave a beautiful overview, and I was struck very much by his images that he had, where he was showing a lot of the other races that he had encountered, because he had encountered many, many races, and they were interesting to see what they look like. And then when he was really saying how so many of them are benevolent and they just want us as earth people to be free and to to free up a lot of things that's going to help us to have more love on this planet. So just a little plug here. Chris has a book, Man of Mimas. Hope I have that right, because I don't have the book in front of me.
That's right.
And so everybody, most of the people that we're speaking that we are going to mention were also, or do also have books that you could buy. So Chris is one of them.
Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to Lisa Sherman Horn. He's in the chat with Joe, and Barry's there as well. Now, Barry, it was lovely to meet her. She's been our photographer all weekend, and she has done an amazing job. She does need to get herself a really nice sitting cushion, because the amount of time she spent on the floor getting angles and stuff like that, I just wanted to make her comfy.
Yeah, she did a wonderful
It's amazing.
job.
And one other thing I wanted to say, the fact that whoever did it put Chris on after Kerry shows that whoever organised it actually makes people think that you must actually know what you're doing, Elisa, because
well, all kidding aside, Donna and I really kind of took this event and split it, and some things had overlap, and then we were always working together, to make sure that we were all in agreement about things. But I really tried to make sure that things flowed. Like as we get into day 2, you'll see what more of the theme is. But it seemed like for day 1, we had a lot of things going on where we were talking about where they could kind of go a little deeper or play off of one another in terms of the subject matter. You do the best you can. I mean, obviously, there's so much diverse information. It's not like one topic in particular that we were looking to bring forth. We had, alien stuff and child trafficking and, MK Ultra and the Q movement and just general geopolitics. And we got into some spirituality. So it's hard to sometimes know where to put all that stuff, but, hopefully it worked and it played off each speaker was able to like accentuate and enhance what the other speakers were saying.
Yeah, 100% and 17%, 117. Excuse me. Then we had come on. Now her energy is beautiful, isn't it? She's such a lovely lady.
Yeah. Ellen is fantastic. Her show is amazing. And what I love about what she decided to do was she wanted to actually document everybody, or as many people as possible, that are in this movement, that have podcasts, that are, trying to either educate or bring forth their voice to the movement. And she wanted to document what their stories were. And it's a little different than what a lot of us do on podcasting, because generally speaking, we are a little more topic sensitive. We always want to know on our show, Patriots Across the Pond, what was their awakening moment or what got them to the point of wanting to do whatever it is they're doing. But Ellen really dives deep into the personal aspect of who they are, what their life has been like, their experiences, and she does a beautiful job with her podcast. And most of the people, I believe, that were in our on our roster of speakers have been on her show. So she just does such an amazing job, and she has such heart, and her energy is amazing. So we were so happy to have her there, and she was one of our sponsors. So she's got an incredible heart.
Yeah, it was amazing. Then we have Derek Johnson on now. A lot of us have listened to the information of Derek, and Joe and Scott said it was quite funny. Derek's the easiest interview they've ever done, because all you do with Derek, you ask a question and you can basically just sit back, and go like that, because the information Derek's come out. But how long did Derek have? I've listened to Derek for 2.5, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but he spent most of the day writing in the corner, getting ready for this stuff.
Yeah.
And his 1.5 hour presentation that he put out was stunning, wasn't it? It was just excellent. There was humor in there, information.
He was such a showman. I mean, here's a man that has so much information. He has an incredible ability to weave the story from a military standpoint, point out, EOs and military laws and orders, and yet, with his cowboy hat and his persona, which is just like, he's just such a warm personality, he was actually putting on a show at the same time. It was just so entertaining. And I think that's the reason, because let's face it, like laws and orders and all that stuff can be very overwhelming and hard to digest, because it's a lot of information. But he just had a great way of presenting it.
Yeah, it's amazing, wasn't it? And then we were meant to be having a round table with lots of people up there, but this is when Dave was back and Rambo and stuff, so we put them on for the end of day 1, and they gave us Patriots in Control presentation, and it was superb to watch. And it was amazing to meet those guys, and I've sent Rambo and Dave a text after the event, which was amazing. Both sent me a lovely message back. But with Dave, I said to both of them when we had them on our show on the 17th, that not only did we have them on the 17th, it was episode 54, wasn't it? And a 1 plus a 7 and a 5 plus a 4 is also a 17. right? And then I found out after that the 17th of April was the 107th day of the year. So I text Dave that, and Dave replied to my text today at 12:17, but my phone is still on English time. So I sent in the screenshot of him replying to me at 17:17.
Yeah, you can't
That's
better.
just synchronicity, isn't it? All day long. Anyway, those guys gave an amazing presentation, and superb. You buy the live stream, the recording, and you'll be able to watch that.
Yeah, and we did have an opportunity after their presentation to do, Q&A. That's what I was trying to say. Like, there was just so much interaction with the audience that we tried to bring as well. And their presentation was very focused on Q and kind of dissecting, the comms. I think people were very mesmerized, because their presentation showed a lot of this and the connections and the arrows and all that. So I thought that was a great way to end the day one.
Yeah. And then what do we do? What do we do after?
Oh, we had a lovely dinner. It's a little rainy here, but we had a lovely dinner in the town of Long Beach. All of us, a bunch of us. I think a few people kind of did their own thing, but you and I were together at that restaurant, which was very nice. And kudos to Donna. Like the first night, Friday night, we kind of kicked it all off with this big Italian meal here on Long Island. It was voted #1 restaurant, I think, for the last 10 years, called Vincent's Clam Bar, which is the satellite restaurant that opened up from Vincent's Clam Bar in Little Italy, Manhattan, I think founded in like 1906. And this restaurant just has like the music and the videos playing of like old time singers and a little bit of a throwback. I mean, we were a really big group, but if you happen to go just like a small crowd, you could kind of take in a lot more of the atmosphere. But the food was flowing, and it was a great way to kick things off. And then, of course, Saturday night we went out, and just a big thank you to Donna, because
definitely. I just want to say about Vincent's Clam Bar as well. Luckily for me, they sold other things apart from clams. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been going.
Yeah, no, it's full Italian food menu.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, wasn't it? Day 2, same thing. Cat sang the national anthem again and Pledge of Allegiance. That was brilliant. And then we started off with Brad Olson, and he did his proper talk there about Antarctica and Antarctic secrets and Nazis and this, Operation Paperclip and all these sorts of things. And Brad is just another amazing man. And he sat with us on the second night in the French restaurant we went to. Lovely. Chat with him. See, the good thing about these, it's like in the olden days, I'll say something, I don't want to upset anyone. In the olden days, if you went to a wedding and stuff, you used to sort of, well, me personally, I used to maybe put my coat on the back of a chair, see who was sitting where. Do you know what I mean? Move your coat. I think because you want to sit with people that you get on well with and rapport. But in this movement, right, I'm quite happy to just take the last chair and sit down next to whoever I sit down next to, because you're going to have an amazing chat. And I had, when we ate on Sunday night in the hotel bar, I had dinner with Dr. Jan Halper Hayes, and her and I, and Rambo was talking to us as well. But me and Jan, Rambo went up to his room after that. But I just had dinner with Jan, and it was amazing just to sit down and chat and eat and have a little drink. It was wonderful.
Yeah. So Brad gave an amazing presentation. Of course, you have to remember a lot of these folks have presentations that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And, we had to condense it. So everyone did a great job of taking their big presentation and just kind of, minimizing it ever so slightly to fit into the time frame. Brad's another one that has a number of books. And I would encourage you guys to check that out too. All the information, like on the replay, or if you need any information for websites and the like. I don't have a lot of that handy right now, but you could always email us to contact at Patriots Across the Pond. You could put attention Elisa, and I'll make sure that you get all the websites that you need to order any of these folks' books.
Yeah, 100%. And then after that, we had Dr. Jan on the stage, and
who actually made me feel tall, because as everyone knows, I'm very short. So she made me feel really tall because she's such a little bit of a petite thing.
Yeah. And, you know, she's a little crowd favourite, isn't she?
Yes.
You know, and she gave a lovely little chat. She was on for about 30 minutes, which was beautiful. All about, you know, government insights and what's going on behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. It's just great.
She also had a little doggy with her.
Yeah, who was very, very well behaved.
The most well-behaved dog I ever saw in my life. I mean, this dog was like just sitting, you know, at the speaker's table. They were passing him around to, like, everyone wanted to hold him and hug him. And she actually met us at the restaurant Saturday night with her pooch. You wouldn't even know she had a dog. He was just so well behaved and adorable.
What would it have been like if you'd have taken your pooch in there?
It was horrible. My dog is so challenged, the poor thing, rescue. She'd be like, yeah, it'd be horrible.
Yeah, bless. And then we had a very emotional little video called in from Mark Abrahams, didn't we? Which, you know, it discussed all the children, and he had, you know, Mark's intro. He always uses the same intro and outro, but it was just, it was the start of like the weekend's discussion about trafficking and stuff.
Yeah.
Really, wasn't it? So, you know, obviously you placed that in there, and that was absolutely perfect placement, I thought.
Because
And no, go on.
I was going to say, because he kind of gave like an overview of what's going on and what the I don't know, kind of the statistics in the different areas of where trafficking and exploitation happens with children, right? From the, very deep, dark, underground of adrenochrome and organ harvesting to the, what I would say, the above ground of the trafficking and, the sex trafficking and, whether it be within families that are doing it or where people are actually abducted and, forced into that lifestyle, and the organizations that he works with, and he works with a number of them. Oh, I want to just say, Sunday morning
in case you haven't seen it, there's another shorty there giving you some love.
Yay! A shorty's got to stick together, right? Sunday morning, if anybody watches our Saturday chat with our friend, when we invite people on, if anybody's ever seen Timbo, he actually came over to us Sunday morning and said, I have a great idea. Can we do a 50-50 raffle and then donate it to Mark Abrahams, like for him to decide which organizations and, how to donate it. And he took care of that whole thing. We raised, I think, $460 that we are going to be presenting to Mark for his, he works with about 4, I believe, different charities, organizations, training, training people how to help people that are trafficked, etc. So that was just like kudos to Timbo, big shout out, because that was just wonderful, and all the people that donated. So
yeah, I picked out the winning ticket, and a wonderful, I can't remember her name. I forgot her name. A wonderful lady won that, and she donated back 50% straight back to Mark. So Mark will be getting $460 to go to this child trafficking charity of his choice. But yeah, it's amazing work. And what really touched my heart as well, Dave, News Treason, said to me, do you mind if I have a few words? I said, no, of course, Dave, absolutely not, because his relationship with Mark, goes back quite a way, and he said some absolutely beautiful words after that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, just so everybody knows, Mark has the song, that he wrote, that's at the the end of his videos that he does. And that song can be downloaded for $5, and then 100% of that money goes to the charities as well. So if you're inclined to do that, you could download the song, which was written, recorded, sung, everything by Mark.
Yeah, and it took a lot of hours to do that. Even though it's 5 minutes, it does take a lot of time to do that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say as well that if anyone doesn't know, we have taken over Mark's respect show for him, and it's not just we're doing it, it's we are carrying on his legacy through our platform. So every Monday going forward, obviously we've got a bit of holidays and I'm in America at the moment, so it's a bit mismatched. We're only doing May the 11th, I think, aren't we, in the month of May?
Yes.
But then from June, it'll be every Monday and if anyone hasn't seen it, I mean, even watching Rambo earlier, they're doing a show now. Rambo said he went and watched the last interview we did, and it was Mark, Patriot Underground, Elisa and I. And it's just a lovely interview, and that is already loaded on our channel. It went live on the 27th, I think, which was yesterday.
Yesterday,
so if
yeah.
anyone wants to go and watch that, that's great. That's the first time we've met Patriot Underground as well. And I could not have picked a better time to speak to Patriot Underground for the first time on Mark's last show, because those two have got such an amazing relationship anyway, haven't they? And they speak so much offline together.
Sorry, doggy was barking. Apologies.
Yeah, that's all right. Right. Well, that's done anyway.
And then something else about that. You were talking about our show. Yeah. So as and sorry if I didn't hear, but we're gonna be going live on Mondays in our normal time frame, which is 10:30 a.m. And I know that Dave and Rambo have very graciously said that they will try to air it as well at the same time on their channel, kind of like as a bridge, maybe for a couple of weeks or a number of weeks too. So we'll keep you posted on that, because we have a little bit of time till our first show.
The support for everyone in this movement from other podcasters it's amazing, isn't it? You're muted, by the way.
I am. I'm putting out a fire. Pardon me.
Putting out a fire? What do you mean? The pooch?
With Renee from Red Pilling Renee. We got our signals crossed on our dinner this week, so I'm trying to get that in order somehow. So.
Oh, well, ignore him for another 15 minutes or 17 minutes, and let's just get this done. So then we had Laura Worley come on after that, and we've had Laura. She did an interview with us a while ago, and another heartbreaking story of experience of being trafficked as a child and all these rituals and demonic things these people do. Heartbreaking, isn't it?
It's just so hard to imagine what someone went through as a child. I mean, at any age, let's be real, but as a child, and comes through so gracious and so brave to be able to tell the story and then be helping, right? She said she's dealt with over 100 different people that she's helped to heal and to be validated about what they've gone through when people tell them they're crazy, they're imagining. She was also very specific to the audience that this was her story and that she didn't want anyone to have any kind of trauma or overly identify, with the pain, because that's not her intention, to make people feel that. The intention is to get the information out. And I thought that too was just remarkable of her, that she was just so concerned more about the people that were listening to her. Just a very remarkable woman. That's all I can say.
I really thought that was a beautiful way. I was like sort of speechless when she was saying that, because of the admiration for what she was saying. And I just thought it was an amazing way to start off our discussion and chat. And then we had Lisa come on. Now, Lisa Schermerhorn, she's amazing, isn't she? She's bubbly, full of life, a character, a joker, spiritual, suffered trauma as well. But what a wonderful lady she is.
Lisa has just a very calming way of the way she speaks. I don't know if you found that, like some people get you revved up and excited, some people make you think, but like Lisa has like her voice and her demeanor about healing, and some of the healings and the way she heals, both like on an emotional level and a very physical level because of the spiritual healing that she does. She's actually shown how it has proven itself in like healing the blood and different things like that. And she also has a book. So it's if anybody's interested in hearing more about her her healing methods and her, the book that she wrote, or want to contact her, she's definitely a warrior in this movement. And I was very touched because I know Lisa like through, the movement, but I never actually heard her presentation. So that was really quite a nice experience for me.
Yeah, and I went and bought a book from Lisa after I heard her talking because I wanted to look into that more. And she wrote a little note for me in the front, like she was doing for everyone, all these guys doing. And she said, "There you go, that's a present." I said, no, I'll give her $20 to put into some charity or something, wherever it wants to go. But because it's all about, my Reiki master always says it's about an exchange, an exchange of love and, passing it forward and all those sorts of things. But yeah, Lisa was amazing. That was brilliant. Didn't we have, I haven't got it written down here. Who was that lady came on shortly discussed breatharian?
Eden, yeah. Oh my gosh, her last name escapes me, but one of Lisa's associates and another podcaster, Eden, we kind of put her in last minute. And she has a really interesting I don't know, way of life where they don't eat food. They don't drink water. They do juices, I guess. It's all from fruit and vegetables, I think. And so they do this liquid diet, right? And she was explaining
she was
some of the
talking,
benefits.
she only wants to eat like one day a week, but it was interesting. And I did my old Jedman 74 in the chat there laugh because after she finished, I said, what a beautiful little speech there and a perfect introduction for me to say, everyone go and get some lunch. It's just funny how she did it right before lunchtime when everyone was going off to eat. But yeah, fantastic. So then we had some lunch, bit of a sponsor announcement, and then we had Matt Geiger come on and do a little chat with Jordan. Was back on stage and they discussed, a bit of gold and silver, took a lot of questions, talked about crypto.
They were talking about crypto a lot, yeah. And just the new money system, if you will, and how that, is going to sort of what it's going to look like. And so I didn't even say that before when I talked about all the topics. There was finance, that we had as well in all these things that people are. Thank you, Carol Eden Cox. So she was the other person that was was at the tail end of Lisa Schermerhorn's presentation, right?
Yeah, that was great.
And then we all ate.
Stuffed our faces. Yeah.
So
and
after,
and then we came back and we had we've had
after Matt, right?
Then we had Sue Lingerfelter on. Now Sue was amazing because she sat in the front row and people were. Lisa Schermerhorn said to me, I think it was Lisa, said, Sue's having her mind blown here. She'd never heard about any of this sort of stuff, did she? And it was sort of like, it was a an awful lot for her to take in. I don't think she, understood a lot of it, but she waited, patiently for the Saturday and Sunday. And when she came on, it was one of the most precise, wasn't it, presentations we had. How long was Sue? She was only on for 20 minutes. But
she wasn't on long,
also,
but she was powerful. And again, like Jan Halper Hayes, Sue is really tiny. So, I felt like a giant. And she just was like a powerhouse. I mean, she's such an amazing public speaker, just talking about Long Island trafficking and what Suffolk County here on Long Island is doing, and how they bridge a lot of the research, like help people to get to the right organization, depending on what it is that they need, and that they're going into schools and other areas to try to educate people more and more about this awful scourge. Did I say that word right? Scourge. Thank you. And she was great, but unfortunately for Sue, a lot of the other stuff we were talking about was new to Sue, and she just, it was a lot to take in when we're talking about off-planet creatures and, all this kind of what a lot of people consider woo-woo, right? That we've just been around for so long and take for granted. So it was a little overwhelming for her. And she had there was like a little sparring, very cute sparring going on between her and Derek. And
that was amazing, wasn't it?
It was so adorable.
Really, yeah.
And he was kind of going like towards her when he gave his presentation on Saturday. So then she kind of gave him the business back when she was on stage on Sunday. So it was all in good fun.
I did think she'd give him a bit more, though.
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, I love Derek because of that. There was many moments in that, and people were talking on stage, and I'd look over, at Derek, and Derek would look at me, and it'd be, it was just fun to be there. It was amazing. Yeah. Now, we were going to have Lee Dundas phone in, weren't we? But that didn't happen for whatever reason. So then we managed to put Lewis Herm's clip in there. It absolutely worked perfectly, didn't it? And Lewis is running for governor of California. He's one of the most. I don't even want to call Lewis a politician. Right, he is running in that realm to take politics away from it. But Lewis talks about all the issues we talked about. He made an amazing film called Cages, and it's all about the trafficking. And he's just a superb guy, isn't he? I think he had a 45-minute speech that he fitted into 15 minutes, which is great.
Yeah, because his was
because you told him.
What?
Because you told him he had to.
Yeah, because with we kind of, when people weren't live, we wanted to make sure it was finite, and so he did a fantastic. I mean, I can't believe that was 15 minutes, because I felt like he was talking for there was so much information packed in there. I don't actually know how he did it. Very educational, very, I want to say, disheartening, because he kind of goes through a lot of politicians and families and how it's all a lot of nepotism, but not in a good way. And so his segment was really very eye-opening. Yeah,
it was. And then we had a little round table, didn't we? We had Joan Scott, Laura Worley, Lisa Shermerhorn, Sue Lincolnfeld, and Chris O'Connell on the stage. And, they were discussing all about the children, childhood trauma, various other topics. But that was meant to be about 45 minutes. But that went on and on and on, because people had so many questions. You and I were running around doing this. And it was like, because we had that, the Alpha Warrior, the Alpha Male Patriot Roundtable, and then a Q&A afterwards, we let that go on for a fair bit longer.
Yeah.
And that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah. And again, kind of more the theme of day 2 was around the issue of child trafficking and MK Ultra. So we had Mark kind of kick it off. Then we had Laura with her personal experience. Then we had this roundtable with people, that the reason they got into podcasting was for the children. with people who are trying to heal people, and then of course personal experience with Laura. So that panel actually included Laura Worley, Joe and Scott from Truth Stream, Lisa Schermerhorn, Sue Lingenfelter, who works in Long Island trafficking, and Chris O'Connor. And there was some very, very poignant emotional moments in that part of the presentation, right, Stu? People talking about their own experiences that they weren't there to talk about per se, but it did come up and they were brave enough to share it. And
Chris and Lisa especially in that moment.
Very touching.
Yeah. It was wonderful. And then it was tool time. Right. You got all the men up there, didn't you? And I had to go up there and sit there and all that. So you could discuss that, because I was sitting up there.
Well, we've been talking a lot about, like, on our podcast, and I think other podcasters talk about it, just how, like, they have just inverted everything, trying to make women think that, they have to act like men, and men can't just be men and be whatever alpha that they feel. And again, we prefaced it all with, like, we're not talking about idiots and people who are think they're better than women, or this macho kind of stuff. Just the fact that there's a natural strength and we're just different, and that there's been a war kind of like on men, and it's gone even further because we know a lot of the chemicals that they've put in bottled water, and it's demasculinized, and there's a whole thing. So we thought it was important to kind of bring that out and talk about the fact that it's very important that we embrace who we are, whether we're men, whether we're women, have a respect about that, and bring back the ability for people to just be who they are and not have all this political correct nonsense that's been. And I suppose I was sort of moderating that part, and I suppose we could have gone in a couple of other directions. Like, the only regret I have in the whole thing was that maybe we could have but the audience got involved, and it was very poignant, and there was a lot of questions that we wanted to let that lead. But just in terms of getting more views from you guys about maybe where we're going in the future with this movement, because the men that were part of the panel are all in some way, shape, or form doing podcasts, or have specific niches that they're out there talking about. But I think there was a lot of good stuff that came up. I think if I had to pull it all together, it was sort of like it sort of felt like everybody was saying it's just all about respect for one another, which has kind of gone away because whether it's the media or TV or whatever, educational institutions, if we're all ourselves and have respect, that's where we need to get back to.
Yeah. So on stage for that moment was Joe and Scott from Truth Stream, Dave Newstrees, and Joe Rambo. Patrick wasn't there, was he?
No.
Matt Geiger was up there. Derek Johnson, yours truly. Jordan was up there.
Yeah.
As well. Chris O'Connor was up there as well, wasn't he? I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was just, it's a really great discussion. I've never been in the military. But I'd stick my head above the pulpit for any of those guys I was sitting on stage with. 117%.
Yeah.
So I hope people enjoyed that. I enjoyed sitting up there. And, that went on as well, wasn't it? There was questions, and that took us.
We actually ran over.
Yeah, well, we didn't do the speaker panel. And that's why I was saying we let the first one overrun, and ours overran, and we didn't need that Q&A anything. Yeah. But at the end, we sort of went around everyone anyway, didn't we? We all had some photos taken. This is why, if you buy the recording, the first day is about 8 hours, the second day is nearly 8.5 hours. And because we went around everyone, and everyone gave out their information, where you can find me, and this sort of thing. Yeah. And I just want to say, as me coming across from the UK to America and the USA, everyone really embraced me, and it was a wonderful experience. And I've never felt so at home whilst I'm away from home.
Yeah.
In my life. Right, it's coming over here. Never felt like that on holiday or going to other countries and all these sorts of things. Right, amazing.
Well, so happy you felt that way. And I think like this morning when everybody was leaving, people left at different times, but the group that was left this morning, right, we all had an opportunity to kind of embrace. And it was, it was like everybody felt that, that love. So it was really, really wonderful. Oh, thank you for the comment, Billy
That's
Club.
Mark and Patriot Underground show we did. Yeah.
So let's see. What's our schedule now? So we are pretty much
You're gonna have to do this because I can't get my Microsoft Outlook and all that doesn't work on this computer because I can't get into it because I'm over here and it wants to send codes to my phone which doesn't work properly. And so you've got your calendar there.
I think we're going to be resuming. So, Stu leaves the United States on Friday, super early. So I have to get him to the airport. Like, I don't know, we're going to have to leave here like 5 a.m. But I'm looking here. So we're not doing a show.
Yeah, we got it's a bank holiday weekend over on Monday.
Let Stu get back into the swing of things, right? Back home.
Yeah.
So we're not doing a show Monday, which going forward, Mondays are going to be our day to do the respect show and focus on the issues of the children, right? But we are doing a show on Tuesday and we're kind of back, back in the saddle, if you will, with our normal schedule through the week. And we'll put that schedule of all the guests on Sunday like we normally do. I don't think there's anything really unusual about our week, right?
No.
Normal back except for Monday. We'll be having a show, our normal Patriots Cross the Pond and Friends on Tuesday. Then we have Matt Geiger on Wednesday, the 6th. And then we have Thursday Thunder. And for some reason, let me see if we have a Friends on that show. I have like 2 different calendars here. I don't know if we have anyone on our show. It might just be us waffling on.
No, I think.
Do we have
I think there is someone.
All right. Well, I don't have that in front of me right now, so let me see.
When you and I check our calendars together, you've always seemed to have bits missing off. But I know how busy you are doing all the emails and everything. And
you're being kind. All right, we'll figure. Anyway, we're going to put the whole schedule up for you guys, but normal times, Thursday. And then we also have on Thursday, which would be the 7th, right? It is our normal show, but Friday, excuse me, I think we're going to be doing our 2 shows. It looks like May 8th, right? We've got Red Pilling Renee and we also have Jason Q.
Yeah, I think so. But don't forget, I've just remembered as well, on what day is it today? Tuesday. On Thursday, the 30th, at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK, I would be doing the second show, my little split-off show from Patriots Across the Pond, because Elisa's going to be doing one with Laura Eisenhower, and I'm going to
be announced.
Yeah, join the queue. Our second episode with Charles Foxtrot and the Maestro. So that will be this Thursday, and I will be doing that from this house where I am now, and that'll be good. But yeah, until I get back to the UK, I can't really see all our schedule and everything like that. But that we'll sort of be doing back to normal again until the 16th of May, when Elisa goes on holiday. So I'm having a holiday as well till the 25th of May. And then pretty much after the 25th of May, when we get back into the swing of it, it will be our regular show.
Yeah.
5 to 9 shows a week, something like that potentially. And yeah, I only normally have, I don't even have a holiday normally, but I'm having one this year, and that's going to be it.
I'm forcing you because I'm going to be going down to Florida for a week or so.
Do you know what? I might have come back yet. I don't know. So we shall see. It's only 7 hours on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. that's pretty much it. You know, I just want to say thanks for all the support we've had. Thank you for everyone we met that wanted a hug, wanted to chat, wanted to come up and have a photo taken. You know, what a beautiful bunch of people that was. And, you know, we do it for you. And we, you know, this is what people were saying in that thing. The most important thing is people shouldn't just watch what we do. You've got to share it out. You've got to pass it forward and get it out there and stuff. And that's the main thing. But apart from that, I absolutely love everyone I've met over here. Speakers, audience, whoever it was. I'd like to give a special little shout out to Veronica as well for who Elks Lodge.
And Eddie and his team, those guys were great because and Robert Imbriali, he was behind the scenes the whole time, live streaming, setting up all these links that are enabling everyone to watch it live and on the replay. And of course, Kat, you know, if it wasn't for Kat, we wouldn't have anybody being able to buy tickets because Donna and I had no idea how to arrange with Party, who is, you know, the link that you get when you go to our website and then you go to buy tickets. So a big shout out and a big hug to those guys. Of course, Donna.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
All right. Love you guys.
Thank you, everyone. We love you so much. And yeah, I can't wait to do it again. Fucking Dana is talking about doing another one in 6 months. I was talking to Joe Wazzari about potentially trying to get one together in the UK, which might be amazing. And you know, going forward, the more of these events we can do, if I can afford it to be there and everything, I'm going to continue to do them because I love that. I love that atmosphere. I love that energy. And I love meeting for a beer in the evening afterwards and chatting and shooting the breeze and talking about stuff with such a fantastic bunch of people. You know,
117%.
Boom. We'll finish there. Where we go one, we go all, people. Hold the line. Keep fighting the fight. Because I don't think we've got too much longer of this. Things aren't escalating so much. I've watched the first 20 minutes of Rambo and Dave. I'm going to watch the rest of that this evening, see what's been going on. Obviously, I've been loading my Telegram and going through things and seeing bits and pieces.
Well, we'll see you all back here next Tuesday.
And I'll see you on Thursday. If any of you want to watch, join the queue.
Please do. Your show's great.
Thank you very much.
And I'll be in the chat.
Yeah, I know you will. You're my moderator.
Yes.
Aren't you? Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, guys, we love you all, and we'll put a little Save the Children video on the end, which we'll probably use a lot on our Monday show. Anyway, I know Mark made his own one up, and it's all individual to him, but he took little clips out of this video from Spiritual Street Fighter, which is a wonderful little thing. So we love you all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you soon. Love, not fear.
Bye.
The last to fall. I won't shed a tear for them to see. And I won't have your name to call. 'Cause I will be the last to fall.